What's up, guys? We're gonna beast, and I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make a Japanese trap type beat. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Let's get started with our first melody. So for the BPM, 160 is what I'm gonna use. I kind of like the faster styled ones, but if you like the slower ones, I think 140 to 150 is a great sweet spot. So you can do like 145. So I'm gonna go back up to my 160. As far as the scale, harmonic minor will be like perfect for this, but there are other scales you can use. And I'm gonna just pull this all the way over, and we should be, what are we in? D sharp. Okay, so in the harmonic minor, D sharp. This is the VST I'm using. Okay, I'm in chromatic mode, so we can access all of the notes. Okay, so KOTO is the instrument you want to look for when making a certain style. You want to make sure you pay attention to the sound selection as well. So that's what we're doing here. So go in here. Let's make this super easy. So all you need to do to make this style when using the harmonic minor is just make one chord in the root. So put down the first root chord, which should be a D sharp minor. And then what we're gonna do is, well, first let me make this a little bit larger. What we're gonna do is pretty much take this middle note, pull it up an octave. Okay, and then copy it over. I'll pull these back just slightly. All right. And then you can just pull one down, and then we're just going to pretty much pull them back. And then our melody is done. And of course, this same process works if you want to make a faster melody. And you just copy it over. All right, and if you want to add stuff, you can. Like if you want to, I'm gonna just do something random. Like if you want to do something like that, you can, or you want to make it longer, but I think for this video, this is plenty enough. So let's go ahead and move on to our pad. Next up, we have our pad. Now this is going to kind of act as filler. So it's going to be like texture, ambience, and this will kind of make your melody sound full. Because when you kind of make a melody like this, it sounds very empty and it's kind of hard to know what to add next. So this is to pretty much fill in stuff early so we can kind of build everything else. So for this, I'm just obviously use our D sharp, and then from here you can just play around, or if you want to use cheat codes, you can just make a scale, pull this down, and you can pull this down like this, and you can kind of build a baseline out of this. Let me pull these up. There we go. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna use this, and I'm gonna just stretch this all the way out. All right, I like that for the pad. Let's go ahead and move on to our next instrument. So here's our next instrument. Now I think it's pronounced ERHU or something like, I don't know exactly, but I'm sure I butchered that. But this is the instrument. I'm sure you heard this before. Sure you heard that instrument before. So like I said, you want to make sure you have the right sound selection for the style you're trying to make, right? So let's go in here, and I'm gonna just click some notes. I'm gonna try to use these little half steps here to kind of keep it dark. Then let's use this to see. All right, I like that. And pretty much you just want to add these little layers to add depth, and just let them come in at their own time, just kind of fill in the space. So it's all one big melody. So let's go ahead and move on to our flute. Next up, we have our flute, and it's going to be the last piece. So I'll just show you what it sounds like solo. So real quick, I'm gonna just put this bass in just because I'm gonna just use the same as the pad here, right? Just so we kind of get the whole weight of the melody. Matter of fact, that, yeah, kind of like right there. And then now we can kind of put this in. So I'm gonna just listen to where I want to put it in. And usually I'll do like a 1/4 beat grid for this. So. And what I'm listening for is a space for the flute to fit in, right? I don't want to override the melody. I just want to like to have it as an element in here. So I'm thinking somewhere around here. So zoom in, and you can take this as far as you want. I'm just kind of do what's needed. And then let's maybe do like, see what that sounds like. Okay, I think that's good. We can kind of edit that in post to make it stand out a little bit better. So that is our entire melody. What we can do now is just handle the drums, and then we can handle like the mixing of stuff last. Let's go ahead and take care of our 808. So what I'm gonna do first is we're going to just drag in our pad for our 808, and then Shift D. And then now we're just gonna kind of throw these in, turn the velocity up, and we can just kind of let this play. We can maybe do something like this. Let's pull this one up too. All right, so what I want to do here is add some slides, because slides are very common. You don't have to go crazy. I'm not a slide type of person, but I'm gonna do it just because it's a part of the style. So I'm gonna take one of these and just pull them up, and we can pull them up. And then what you want to do is usually you can offset it. Now you can pick a grid if you want to. You do 1/4 and put it on the grid like that if you want it to be exact. But me personally, I kind of like full control, so. All right, I like that. Now over here, I think what we can do is just have this dip back into this. Wait, let's maybe. And then let's do another one up here. Let's offset that a bit. Nah. All right, I like that. I like that. Okay, so there's the 808. I'm gonna copy this down. Now, since our kick has a built-in, or not our kick, our 808 has like a lot of punch in the beginning. These will overlap, so you got to choose the right key for this. You don't have to. You can use just C if you want to, but usually there's a better note. I'm gonna delete these. Like, that sounds way better in my opinion. I'm good with that for the kick. Now, you don't have to do this, but this is just to get a better mix between the kick and 808. You don't see this often, but this is something you can do. So that is a low end. Let's go ahead and move on to the drums. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our drums. So I have a lot of sounds here, right? So what you want to do with this style is you want to layer a lot of things. So that's why I have so many snares and like cymbals and stuff. So I'm gonna just throw in this here, and maybe we can create like a nice little pattern for like the snare. like that. I'm gonna set to next bar so it loops. Okay, and then we can just add our perks and stuff in. So like the hi-hat, you don't need to, now typically there isn't a hi-hat, but you can put one in. So I just want to include one just because it is a part of the style, but a lot of times there isn't. Right click that. Now we just fill in these other ones. Now you could do whatever. Obviously, you can, you know, you could do whatever. We can. If you want to edit the velocity, you can. I wouldn't really do it on this because I feel like we have too many drums. But you know, we can set to next bar. Set to next bar. Make sure it's at 64 so it loops perfectly. Okay. All right, so that is the drums. So what we're gonna do now is add some effects and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and add effects, and then I'm gonna show you what I added. I'm gonna try to keep it very stock oriented. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so there is a lot to explain. So I'm gonna kind of go through all the important stuff. Now we'll provide the FLP so you can at least have the presets. That's why I kind of kept it stock. And then you can kind of have the MIDI at the very least. All right, so for the KOTO, obviously you can see I pan on my instrument, so I pan my main melody away from everything else, except our texture, ambience, or our pad. So what I did here is I took an empty bus, called it Twinkle, and then I put a delay on it, boosted the highs, and I usually do this with like bowed or stringed instruments to kind of bring out that noise. So I routed this, as you can see, I routed this to this insert here, and then here if I just play them, you hear that? All right, and then for our main instrument, I just put a reverb, and obviously you can see the EQ to increase the sound, the frequencies I liked, and then just another EQ. So for the reverb, and this is universal, so this is to put your instrument in space so the drums are clear. So what you want to do is pretty much just pull the dry down by half. Now, if you have something you want to put more in the background, you pull the dry down even more. I'll show you an example. And it's going to move it back. Right, so that's pretty much how you do that. You can cut out the lows if you want by pulling this up, and that's pretty much universal through all of these. As you can see, we just have reverb. As you can see, same thing. It's literally the same thing. Pretty slept on reverb plugin. So yeah, just EQ, and then for the rest of these, same. It's literally the same thing, just putting it in space, as you can see. Okay, and then just some delay for the flute. And if you have FL, you'll have these presets and stuff, because I'll provide the FLP. But I just want to make sure y'all have all these presets, because this stuff here that I'm showing you is what's going to make your beat sound good, right? Like, yeah, putting the notes in is cool, but like this processing is the difference. And then for the bass, we just have an EQ, and I probably could see you could. And then on the mat, like I put everything in the bus, okay, and then I'll just put a cassette for like some of that detuned effect, okay. And then for the master, I know this is a long part, but hey, I want to make sure y'all get all this info. I put a bass boost at 52 hertz. Now 52 hertz is where the kick will hit. So I just pull this up a bit. It's like one. Oh wait, let me turn it on. Right, that's max. So I just pulled it down about a third, just to get a little bit of that punch. And then we use the basic EQ. Okay, just a basic EQ, nothing crazy. Just boost some of the highs, probably clear it up a bit. And a soft clipper. Soft clipper is just basic. It's literally default. Everything is default. And then here we go. I could probably even push the kick a little bit more. Right, and you can enhance whatever you want, but that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.